Welcome to the Cell Guru Show, and once again we are in deluge time. We are in flood time. We've got product after product after product. You know, as I speak right now, there are products being launched, and as the show will be watched by you through this week, more and more products are going to come in. Now you'll say that's what happens almost every week. No, this week and next week have actually been a very, very special time in terms of mobile phones, because every company seems to have picked up its tempo. So I'll give you an example. We've got Redmi's new phone, the Redmi Note 9 Pro Max. I know it's a mouthful of a phone, but we're going to find out if there is something very pro-ish and max-ish. Is that right? Max-ish about it? Yes, max-ish about it. Then we'll move on to this one, Samsung's A31. Once again, a 20,000 rupee phone in their A series that again kind of tick marks all the boxes that you need, but is about 20,000 rupees. So how does it do against the competition that at this price point does have a lot happening? We'll compare it with some of the other phones also. Then we have the ultimate shootout. Now this is a very interesting shootout. This shootout was not something that I asked for. It's something that you asked for. Everyone's asking for it now that the OnePlus 8 series is available. How about a shootout between the OnePlus 8 and the Mi 10? Now do remember, this is one of those first times where the Xiaomi is higher priced and the OnePlus is lower priced. In fact, you can get the base model for this for around 42,000 rupees, and this is 50,000 bucks. But do remember, by the time you get one of the best variants of this, the price is almost similar. And from there we'll move on to true wireless buds comparison between what do you get when you spend more money versus buying a cheaper one. That and a whole lot more happening on the Cell Guru Show today. Alright, it's time now to move on to all our news coming in from the world of mobiles.
Gamers, here's some exciting news for you. Asus has confirmed that its next gaming phone, the ROG 3, will launch globally this month. Asus has been tight-lipped about the specs this phone will carry, but it is rumored to have a 6000 mAh battery and a 64 megapixel main lens. An event countdown on Asus's website calls this a game changer and hints at a July 22nd launch. WhatsApp has taken out some much-awaited features that include a QR code adding option where people with a QR code will simply be able to scan and save numbers. There are also animated stickers now along with dark mode for WhatsApp Web. WhatsApp video calls now have a new effect where one person's window can be made full screen by long pressing on it. And for KaiOS WhatsApp users, the disappearing status feature will finally be rolled out. All these features will be rolled out in the next few weeks.
Let's get on to our first story, and this is a very interesting story because it is on a brand new phone from Xiaomi. Now, like we say in our review, and something very interesting about Xiaomi is that it's a very, very aggressive player in the under 20,000 bracket. It literally has a phone in every single category. But the important thing that we have to find out now is that with a brand new phone that they've come out, first and foremost, the big question that we had in our mind was, why does this phone even exist? Because they already have a Xiaomi Redmi Note 9 Pro. Now to take out a Max version, predominantly the big difference is a little bit in the battery, a little bit in the optics. So should it even exist? There are lots more competition out there around this price point. Is it better than the competition? Is it better to buy this phone than just buy the Pro version of this? Lots of questions, and of course we have all the answers.
Xiaomi has a very interesting strategy when it comes to budget and economy phones. They have at least 1 to 2 offerings at literally every price point. Thus, when they announced a more well-spec'd version of their Redmi Note 9 Pro, no one was really surprised. They called it the Note 9 Pro Max. Just how pro-ish and max-ish is this phone is our quest for today. The Note 9 Pro Max does raise quite a few very important questions. Is it way better than its previous generation, the Note 8 Pro? Is it worth the 3,000 rupees or more than the Note 9 Pro? And is it better than the other two biggies in this category and price point, the Realme 6 Pro and the Poco X2? It's a nice looking phone for sure. Glass back finish, side-facing fingerprint sensor, and a massive 6.67-inch screen with a punch-hole camera in the middle of the screen. It comes in 3 colors. It's also a fingerprint magnet and was impossible not to smudge even if we handled it very carefully. Thankfully, it comes with a cover inside the box. Unfortunately, in terms of its form factor, it's a very poorly balanced phone. Big, unwieldy and heavy. 209 grams and thick, not a good hand feel at all. On the brighter side, it does have a 3.5mm headphone jack, something of a rarity nowadays. The 6.67-inch display has a typical 2400 by 1080p resolution for this price category. But once again, it misses out on the refresh rate as it's a very middling 60Hz refresh rate, lower than the 90Hz refresh rate you get on phones like the Realme 6 Pro. Surprising omission from Xiaomi here. The 9 Pro Max runs on the Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G octa-core processor, which is a great chipset for performance, gaming as well as running cool. Everyday performance is fast, apps load quick and multitasking is a breeze. Gaming was pretty good too, and you can piston out PUBG at a fairly good graphic setting. Now let's get into the optics, which is where the Pro Max version differentiates itself from its sibling. It has a 64-megapixel main lens as part of a quad camera assembly. The others are a 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera, 5-megapixel macro camera and a 2-megapixel depth camera. The setup juts out from the back and won't let the phone lie flat when it's put on its back. Nothing outstanding was achieved in our photo test though. Outdoor and daylight photography was bright with a lot of detail, but the minute we moved to lower light situations or indoor, the results were washed out and very grainy. Nothing Pro Max-ish about the camera results in this one. Selfies from the 32-megapixel front camera were nice and sharp, but once again lost their magic when not fed the right amount of light. There is a Pro Color mode that bumps up the contrast in photos and works well if you like saturated photos. There are some video tricks like short clips with a kaleidoscope effect, plus you can shoot slow motion at up to 960 frames per second. Things start to look a bit better when you realize that packed inside this very big and heavy phone is a massive 5020 mAh battery, and it has a 33-watt fast charger that comes in the box. Kudos to Xiaomi for doing that. The Xiaomi phone obviously comes with the MIUI interface, and while things have changed, it is more polished. It also carries all the other problems that this UI has. As always, there's way too much pre-installed bloatware and some of them are seriously spam-filled apps. After spending 17,000 rupees, you don't want to be bombed by unwanted ads, but between notification and Xiaomi's wallpaper carousel, you're going to get a heavy load of them. Not a great feeling ever. The variants available are 6GB RAM and 64GB storage for 16,499 rupees, 6GB RAM and 128GB storage for 17,999 rupees, and 8GB RAM 128GB storage for 19,999 rupees. The final verdict. The Redmi Note 9 Pro Max misses the bus, and by quite a wide margin. It just doesn't have anything super special to justify its price point or existence. There are better phones from Realme and Poco at these price points, and Xiaomi's own Note 9 Pro is a better buy at a lower price.
Now let's move on to this, our next story, and this is on the Samsung A31 phone. Now you know the Samsung A series, M series, these came in to make Samsung a real player against the competition it was having, both in the online and offline market. Both have done remarkably well. And the number of phones that they take out also is pretty remarkable. Another phone from the A series is out. Now, great amount of optics at the back. Like I said right in the beginning, you may be confused when you look at the back because it's got a rectangular cutout out here. Of course, it's jutting out, but it's a rectangular cutout for all the optical setup, and it looks like the S series more or less, but believe me, this is the A series. I think this is becoming a signature look for most Samsung phones. So nice looking phone, nice and thin, good battery, good charging, nice screen on it, the kind of things that you need. This has become another signature for Samsung. They have a water drop notch on this, but it's for 20,000 rupees. So once again, the big question that comes up is, do you really get something more than just the Samsung brand name when you spend 20,000 rupees on a phone like this?
To make sense of the A's and the M's from the Samsung stable might be a little unpredictable, but the brand clearly has two strategies. A is for the individual who believes in slicker designs, and M is for those who like to keep a check on the price tag. The Samsung Galaxy A31 comes with a 6.40 touchscreen AMOLED display with a resolution of 1080 by 2400 pixels. Samsung Galaxy A31 is powered by a 2 GHz octa-core MediaTek Helio P65 processor and comes with 6GB of RAM. The Samsung Galaxy A31 runs on Android 10 and is powered by a 5000 mAh non-removable battery. It can easily go well beyond a day on a single charge. There's 15 watts fast charging, so you can charge the battery up to 50% in an hour, but filling it completely takes well over 2 hours. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Samsung Galaxy A31 on the rear packs a 48 megapixel primary camera with a f/2.0 aperture, a second 8 megapixel camera with a f/2.2 aperture, and a third 5 megapixel camera with an f/2.4 aperture, and a fourth 5 megapixel camera with a f/2.4 aperture. The rear camera setup has autofocus. It sports a 20 megapixel camera on the front for selfies with a f/2.2 aperture. The quad camera cluster at the back is a rectangular module, but surprisingly it doesn't bulge out much. No 4K recording on this device, the camera results given the price left us wanting for a lot more. The Samsung Galaxy A31 runs on One UI 2.1 based on Android 10 and packs 128 GB of inbuilt storage that can be expanded via a micro SD card of up to 512 GB, and it's available in 3 colors. Sensors on the phone include an accelerometer. This phone also has face unlock and an in-display fingerprint scanner. The Samsung Galaxy A31 price in India starts at 21,999 rupees. Our verdict: even if prices were to slip, there are better devices out there, including in Samsung's own Galaxies.
And now for the shootout that we all have been waiting for, the OnePlus 8 versus the Xiaomi Mi 10. Now both have very interesting history and legacy behind it. We already know OnePlus is the king of this market, from 30,000 to about 45,000, now 50,000 and 55,000 also. OnePlus has always reigned supreme. Xiaomi wanted to break this complete control of OnePlus. They came up with the Mi 10. Lots of people said this is a complete failure of a phone from Mi 10 because at 50,000 rupees, people are not going to buy a Xiaomi phone. Xiaomi, a brand more associated with 5, 7, 10, 15,000 rupee phones. So would you spend 50,000 rupees on a Xiaomi phone? In terms of the feature set, in terms of what it does, it's great, but there is a brand value perception problem. But today we'll actually take a look at both these phones, the OnePlus 8 versus the Xiaomi Mi 10. We'll actually declare a true, real winner.
The worthy contender against Xiaomi's premium Mi 10 is the OnePlus 8 series. And while we have compared it to the OnePlus 8 Pro in the past, it's time to look at the OnePlus that goes slightly lighter on the pockets. The OnePlus 8 starts at 41,999 rupees, while the Xiaomi Mi 10 starts at 49,999 rupees. With a difference of almost 8,000 rupees, can the OnePlus 8 prove to be mightier than the big-ticket Mi 10? Let's put the two side by side and find out which one you should buy. In terms of design, both the phones go with a subtle gradient on the back. They look minimal, but the make does attract some fingerprints on both these phones. OnePlus 8 has Corning Gorilla Glass on the back as well. OnePlus 8 has the cameras vertically stacked on the back like its Pro variant. But the difference with Mi 10 comes in their screen size. The Mi 10 has a large 6.67-inch display, while the OnePlus 8 has a 6.55-inch display. OnePlus 8 packs in more pixels on its display, but otherwise both the phones do very similarly here. Both have an AMOLED display with Full HD Plus resolutions and a 90Hz panel. Under the hood, Mi 10 and OnePlus 8 go the extra mile with their performance. Both bring an 8GB RAM and Snapdragon 865 processor. The phones are really fast even with heavy-duty games. The differentiator here comes with the OS the two phones sport. The Mi 10 brings a MIUI 11 based on Android 10, while the OnePlus 8 has Oxygen OS on it. Mi 10 doesn't bring apps. MIUI 11 is highly customizable, but there are pre-installed apps. Oxygen OS takes the point here with a very clean, close-to-stock Android experience. The wow feature with the Mi 10 has been its 108 megapixel camera. And this is the one feature this phone can really blow its own trumpet about. Mi 10 has a quad camera setup with a 108 megapixel lens in the lead, along with a 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 2 megapixel macro sensor, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. The OnePlus 8 brings 3 cameras, a 48 megapixel sensor, 16 megapixel ultra-wide lens, and a 2 megapixel macro lens. The Mi 10 does well with the 108 megapixel lens. The details in shots was stunning, and there's a lot of playing around that one can do with this camera. OnePlus 8 clicked shots which were true to life in terms of color. Mi 10 can shoot videos up to 8K, while OnePlus 8 can take videos in 4K. The Mi 10 has a 20 megapixel front camera, while the OnePlus 8 has a 16 megapixel front shooter. On paper and with the shots we got, Xiaomi's Mi 10 snags the optics point here. We do miss a telephoto lens on the Mi 10, but it impresses with superior camera capabilities. As for the juice these phones pack in, the OnePlus 8 has a 4300 mAh battery, while the Mi 10 has a larger 4780 mAh battery. OnePlus 8 lasted us a day, but Mi 10 can pull off a little more than that. Both bring 30 watts fast charging, but unlike the Mi 10, the OnePlus 8 misses out on wireless charging. And now for the verdict. If you are ready to shell out more than 40,000 rupees and want a super flagship, which of these phones is the better choice for you? The OnePlus 8 offers a more affordable deal with a good design, software and excellent performance. The Mi 10 comes in slightly more expensive but offers a lot more as well, with a better camera and battery life. There's also wireless charging, which is pretty useful. If you are ready to spend around 50,000 rupees, the Mi 10 makes for a better choice here.
Let's take a quick break right now on the Sale Guru Show. When we come back, a whole lot more. Now let's move on to a story we've been wanting to do for a while, because it's something that is a very interesting question that gets answered. What do you get when you spend more money on something, when you actually can get the entire same category for a much lower price? I'm talking about wireless earbuds. You know, they've become famous out there. On our other show, the Gadget 360 show, we're doing a twin review of Sony True Wireless Earbuds, so do watch that show too. Now today what we're going to do is we're going to take a Samsung earbud about 12,000 rupees and compare it to Redmi, which is under 4,000 rupees. So what do you really do when you're spending 8,000 rupees more? Do you really get bang for buck when you spend that much more money? Remember, it's to do with sound, something we're all very, very sensitive to.
Buds, easily the most trending term of this year. And rightly so, as every brand is taking out their best possible version of the true wireless earphones. Today we look at two options, one that focuses on audio quality and another that wants to give a premium experience at an affordable price. We will start with the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus, which are the successor of the Galaxy Buds launched last year. The new Buds may look almost the same as its predecessor, but bring better performance and battery life on board. The sound quality is outstanding with powerful bass and right high notes. The audio is rich and natural, and we thoroughly loved listening to the music on it, as it now comes with dual dynamic drivers. There is a 3-mic setup for loud and clear voice calls in any surrounding. The battery life steals the show as it offers up to 11 hours of non-stop music on a single charge. Of course, the case gives an additional charge. The big bummer is that no noise cancellation on board. The Buds Plus fit beautifully in the ear and look slightly better than last year's Buds, and our opinion has made the earphones look a bit better. The charging case comes with an indicator light at the front and USB Type-C port for charging at the back. The case can also be charged wirelessly through reverse charging on a smartphone that supports this, or using a QI wireless charger. The Buds Plus act even smarter with the Buds Plus app, with which we can customize a lot of gestures. We highly recommend for those who are on Android and have 12,000 rupees of budget and can do without noise cancellation. Moving on from Buds that cost 12,000 to the Buds that cost 2,000 rupees. Meet the Xiaomi Redmi Buds S, super light, true wireless earphones that have decent audio quality and bring noise cancellation in under 2,000 rupees. The discreet design is comfortable, and being just 4G each, we could wear them for long hours. The pairing is super easy and it does have control in the earbuds to pause and play. The Redmi Earbuds S ship with a low latency mode for gamers that can be activated by pressing the button on the earphone thrice. They are IPX4 rated, which means they are sweat resistant, but don't go swimming with them. The audio quality is decent but not at par with the Buds that cost 5 to 10 times more. Also, the build quality is not that sophisticated. We like that Xiaomi has added noise cancellation and it works fairly well. The Redmi Buds S are priced at 1799 rupees in India, They are a great option for everyone who doesn't want to spend a lot, yet get everything 2020 buds have to offer. They are truly the buds for the masses.
That then was the Cell Guru show for this week. As always, we've got fantastic stuff for you next week, including Poco's brand new just released phone. That and a whole lot more. This is Rajiv Makni saying goodbye. I'll see you next week.